Hello, Professor Cadmes here, and I am going to tell you how to read and understand a narrative essay. So, this is our first experience doing some reading together, and it will become clear that this is how each week is going to be structured. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs from whatever your reading is with you, teach you some stuff about it, and then what you are going to do is to continue to read the piece on your own. You are going to do some annotation or writing in the margins of the piece. And then you are going to answer the questions for that article. And the thing about the articles we're reading is that they all relate to the writing that you guys are going to do. So all of the articles are in service of helping you either to think of content that you can write about or to help you with stylistic issues that you can then repeat in your writing. So it makes a lot of sense, if you haven't done so, to always start with the English 099 lessons. Do those lessons first in the week if you can, or at least simultaneously with the 98. So doing the 99 work is really going to help you with the 98 work. Okay? So we have an article here called My Name, and by now you've watched the video clip about Sandra Cisneros, who's the author of this story. It's a story because it is based on a hybrid of various truths from the author's life. And in terms of pre-reading, if we look at the title is My Name. Okay, so thinking about the title here, and when you think about the title My Name, what might you think of? Well, you might start thinking about your own name, right? Who named you? For me, my mom named me, right? My first name doesn't have any significance with regard to my family. My middle name, Rose, was my grandmother's name. Maybe I'm thinking about all these things about my name before I read. If you are, it's really helpful. It's a great pre-reading strategy. Pre-reading strategy, looking at the title, right? So that's a really good pre-reading strategy because it gets those neurons in your brain firing before you even begin reading. Okay, so we're going to look at the first two paragraphs together and do a little bit of annotating and talking about the first two paragraphs, and then you're going to read the rest on your own and answer both the 98 and the 99 questions and upload them here in this week on Canvas, okay? So here we go. In English, my name means hope. In Spanish, it means too many letters. It means sadness. It means waiting. It is like the number 9, a muddy color. It is the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he is shaving. Songs like sobbing. So what is she doing in this first paragraph? Well, she gives the definition of her name, the literal definition, what it actually means. Esperanza, we will learn, is her name, and it means hope, right? So what we might do here is to just make a note of what this first sentence means. So I just clicked review on Microsoft Word. This can be a really good way for you to annotate the text as well if you'd like to. So I just click review and then click new there. And then this is going to be a comment. We can say the literal definition of her name, factual. Okay, and then what we see is something that's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit more experimental, right? In Spanish, it means too many letters. Well, does the name actually mean too many letters? No, to her it means that it's too long, right? Esperanza's got a lot of letters. And then we get even more distant from the literal meaning. It means sadness. It means waiting. It is like the number 9. So what do we think when we hear it's like the number 9? What associations do you have with the number 9? Well, the number 9 is an odd number. It's not even. So maybe she feels like she doesn't like her name because it's odd, right? It's not a name that's easy to pronounce. And then what we get in this paragraph is an association that she has with her father, right? So we learn a little bit about her family. She says, it's the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he is shaving, songs like sobbing. So here we get a sense of her ethnicity. So we know the author is Mexican. Her dad was sad. So look at all the information we get. We don't just get a whole bunch of definitions for her name, but we get how she feels about it, a sort of random assortment of both how she feels about her name and then even a family member who relates to her name in some way. Okay, so again, what I did was I clicked review and then I clicked new to make a comment here. You can annotate right in your book. You can write right in the margins of your book if you want, but if you'd like to do your annotations or notes in the margins electronically, if you just click review on the Word document file, you'll be able to write annotations that way. Okay? All right. So what else do we want to do here? So we're going to look at the second paragraph together, and then you guys are going to be on your own for looking at the rest of this article and attempting to answer the questions for it. Okay? So it was my great-grandmother's name, and now it is mine. She was a horsewoman too, born like me in the Chinese year of the horse, which is supposed to be bad luck if you're born female. But I think this is a Chinese lie, because the Chinese, like the Mexicans, don't like their women strong. Okay, so in this paragraph, we learn that the name was also her great-grandmother's name, right? And what does it mean she was a horsewoman too? What might that mean? Maybe she was wild. It relates to the Chinese astrology, the year of the horse. And then we get this commentary. It's supposed to be bad luck if you're born female, but I think this is a Chinese lie because the Chinese, like the Mexicans, don't like their women strong. So that is a generalization, right? Generalization. Which means what? Well, a generalization is when you talk about a whole group of people as if all of those people are a certain way. So she's basically saying that Chinese people, like Mexican people, have a culture of male dominance where women are less valued for strength. And in one of the questions, you're going to think about that. You're going to think, well, is it effective for Sandra Cisneros to talk about Chinese people and Mexican people in this way? Is she making a commentary about a particular cultural moment, or does she really feel that all Chinese people and all Mexican people don't like strong women? So you want to think about that critically. Is that an effective move? So overall, what we've gotten so far is her first paragraph is the overview about her name. Okay, remember, you can also use this as a model for your writing, so you could start with an overview of your name. And then we start to learn about a person who is important to her, her great-grandmother. So what you're going to learn in the rest of the piece is more about her great-grandmother. You're going to learn a little bit more about her life story in the next 2 paragraphs. And then the final paragraph will be about the pronunciation of her name and what she wishes her name could be like. So if you look at the questions that you have here, again, you're going to say what the speaker's name means literally in English. We talked about that. An association the speaker has with her name. Well, an association is something she's reminded of when she thinks of her name. So one example of that might be the Mexican records of her father, right? So anything she thinks of when she thinks of her name, maybe the number 9, right? we talked about the generalization that's made, and I want you to think, is that effective for you? Did it work for you? No wrong answer. Was that paragraph working for you? Okay. And then the next question is about a particular quote, and you're going to think about what it means that the speaker or the person writing this piece, the person narrating, does not want to inherit her great-grandmother's place by the window. Okay? You're also going to do these questions, and you're going to talk about what the entire first paragraph is about overall. Okay? And then if you were writing an essay about your name, what would your first paragraph be about? So if you were modeling your essay after Sandra Cisneros', what would you have your first paragraph be about? And what couldn't it be about if you were modeling your work after hers? So you're going to do your best with answering these questions. What you have here is a narrative essay. This is an essay that is a little bit more creative. It's narrating, which means it's telling a story. So this is the first essay that you're reading and the first essay that you're writing. So good luck reading the rest of the piece, taking some notes in the margins, and then answering the questions.